Hi everybody, my name is Andy Scott and today I've got a question for you. And that question is very simply, do you dare to dream? And I don't just mean the dreams you have in the night where you're running around the supermarket in your pants. I'm talking about the dreams you have for your life, the plans that you have for your life, what you want to achieve for you and your families and your loved ones. Do you have those dreams? And if you do, are they big enough? Are they big enough to scare you? Because if they don't scare you, they're probably not worth doing. If a dream isn't big enough, then why dream it? You know, dream big or don't dream at all when it comes to this sort of stuff. But the reality is that most of us struggle with that. And that's part of the human condition. That's why 1% of the planet and more than the other 99% combined. Because most of us don't ever believe that we'll get to where we could be, where we should be. Most of us, when we look in the mirror, you know, we don't see a tiger. You know, this cat is seeing a cat painting a tiger. Most of us should see a tiger, but we paint a cat. You know, we have that all flipped around. And it's quite interesting because, you know, as part of my journey as a 16-year-old boy leaving school, dyslexic, no qualifications, my dream was just to get out of there. And believe it or not, the teacher's dream was just to get me out of there. Because when you're put in the bottom groups for everything and told that you are worthless with no future, that's how you tend to behave. But something happened to me when I left school, and I started to believe that this must be the first day of my life, my adult life. It was time for me to stop thinking about the childish things and start to think about what the rest of my life actually looked like and what I was going to do with it. You know, sounds quite deep for an unintelligent 16-year-old. But I just wanted to get it started. I just wanted my journey to start now. I'd had enough of an institution that didn't appreciate me, and I didn't appreciate it. So I went out there and I got ready to take on the world. And I was full of energy. I was full of beans. I really wanted to get this done. You know, nothing was going to stop me. You know, I'm out there. I'm going to make this happen. Sure enough, I went to an interview, I got a job, and I started my first job at 16 years old. My first full-time job at 16 years old was packing fish cakes in a fish cake factory. Now, to a lot of people, that might not seem like a great job, you know. To me, I actually enjoyed it. And I learned a lot about myself in the time that I was there. And one of the things that I learned about myself was that if you're going to pay me to do something, I'm going to do it to the best of my ability. You know, I packed the shit out of those fish cakes. I really did. I eventually got promoted to mixer boy, and I actually enjoyed my time there. But even as a 16-year-old, there was something that I kind of understood in the back of my mind. And that was that life is not about where you start. Life is about where you finish and how good the journey is. I'm not talking about the end destination. We all know what the end destination is, and I'm not in a rush to get there. But what I want to do is have the best journey possible for me and my loved ones. So I started to do something that probably sounds like a corny catchphrase from a backstreet evangelist. You've heard the phrase, dream, believe, achieve. It's all over the place. And I don't necessarily believe in just latching onto something and seeing what happens. But for me, I was doing this and I didn't realise. So I started to dream. And the more I dreamed, the more I started to believe that, you know what, this could happen. And the more it happened, the more I achieved, the more I started to dream and the more I started to believe. Now, my beliefs and my dreams were not huge at this stage. I'm talking about, a young lad that comes from the council estates of Leeds. I spent most of my younger life sharing a bedroom with my grandma. We didn't have very much. So I didn't set dreams out to have huge houses with swimming pools at that point. But none of my family that I knew of lived in a detached house and were driving brand new cars, and none of the people around me were doing that. So that was the dream that I set. That was my thing that I wanted to aim towards. And if we fast forward a few years, those things were starting to happen. Now, manifesting. I'm not sure about the whole manifesting thing. I've read The Secret, you know what? It's quite a good book. But I'm not sure that I believe that you can just manifest anything to appear kind of when you want. And believe me, I have tried. In the 80s, I tried to manifest the shit out of Pamela Anderson. Very, very hard. Now, I don't know whether it was the red swimsuit or the slow running down the beach, but that girl definitely intrigued me. And as it happens, girls that can't run very fast made up a large part of my dating history. So maybe I did manifest part of that. But the reality was, whilst it's not necessarily manifesting, I do believe that if you just put good things out into the universe and out into the world, good things on the whole will probably happen to you with a sprinkling of bad. But that's just the way it goes. But if we fast forward 6 years and we move forward 6 years from starting packing fish cakes, I'm now managing my first supermarket. 6 years after that, I'm now an area manager for Lidl, running several stores for them. And this was before I started my own sales businesses, got into sales and run sales teams and all the rest of it. This was like my first life. And do you know what? Working in a supermarket, being in a supermarket taught me so much. You can learn so many lessons that directly relate to life. You see so many things that directly relate to life by being in a supermarket. For example, you will see exotic things from all over the world, even if it is just fruit and veg. You will have things happening there that are just unexplainable. You will have things that you just can't believe you're seeing. And I know what you're thinking. When that girl gets home, how the hell is she going to fit that inside her fridge? Not our problem. You'll see the very best and the very worst of humanity when you put groups of people together. You'll be given tips that don't necessarily work out the way that you think they should. The last time I rubbed up against somebody in the freezer aisle, I got banned from Asda. So not all tips are good, and not all things that people tell you should be followed. You'll also be offered things that you're not sure you should be offered, or you're not sure you should be taking because you're not quite sure what the consequences are. And you will see things that educate you into things that you just did not know went on. So, very interesting world. You'll also see some things that completely startle you. The things that I've seen in supermarkets, could curl your toes. But it's all representative of life. And I just love the psychology of supermarkets as well. Even now, I walk into supermarkets. The other day I came out of Morrison's with 3 bags of cat litter. It was on its end on a fantastic price. I don't have a cat. So the psychology that goes into selling you things that you don't necessarily want is very, very strong, and that started to set part of the interest levels that I had about understanding people more on what makes them tick. But ultimately, around your journey around the supermarket, your journey through life, you've got to make some decisions as well. You've got to make decisions about whether you are a sheep and you're going to just stand nicely in the queue and you're going to wait because you know that the girl can put everything through, she can take the security tags off, there's no age restrictions to worry about. Or are you going to take a chance that you've shopped well and you can get through these amazing little things here which never seem to want me to get out of the supermarket? And I started to realise, and there's more of these now, and I think they've got easier, but in the early days, the unexpected item in a shopping basket and all that sort of stuff, it made it a nightmare for people. You had to be brave, but you had to plan your shopping, just like you plan your journey in life. There was things that had to happen, nothing with age restrictions, nothing with security tags. If you wanted to get in there, get done, get out, get ahead of the crowd. So planning for what you wanted really becomes part of all that as well. So yes, supermarkets taught me a lot. I learned a lot. I enjoyed it a lot. But ultimately, we come back to, do we dare to believe? Did I dare to believe that that would get me where I wanted to be? All I knew was I was turning up every day. Somebody was paying me and I was working hard. And yes, from living in the council estates with nothing, no foreign holidays, hardly any holidays at all, moving through to when I was 28 years old, being a regional manager for Lidl. By that time I was living in a big 4-bed detached house, new cars on the drive. I'd been to some of the places that had fascinated me as a child, that I put at the top of my wish list, like Hong Kong and Hawaii, and many other places as well. Why? I don't know. I can't tell you. All I can tell you is I started to believe. After I started to believe, I started to achieve. There's a lot to be said for getting out of your comfort zone, pushing yourself and doing things that you don't think you can do. I've never seen a job description that I believed I could do. And I've had jobs running big sales teams, big supermarkets, multiple supermarkets, but I've never seen a job description I believed I could do. But what I will do is I will turn up, I will work hard, and I will give it everything that I've got. That's all we need to do. You need to do the same. Hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have enjoyed it, please subscribe. Please tell other people to come and have a look. But if you don't mind, I've just got a little bit of shopping to finish. I'll catch you soon.